I'm Gary Micklem. Have you ever used stepping stones to cross a brook? Well, learning to play the guitar is a lot like that. By taking simple small steps, you'll make regular progress and you'll avoid the frustration of trying to take too many steps at once. You'll learn starting with this free lesson, and we'll continue with affordable quality instruction. You'll learn to play the right way with simple songs, and then you'll progress to more challenging and interesting music. And you'll do it at your pace. Okay, let's get started. Today, what we're going to do is learn the counting of the strings, your fingers, and the frets. And we'll start right now. The string that's closest to the ground is the first string. And we're going to do all the playing with your right hand thumb. And it sounds like that. That's also the highest sounding string on the guitar. That's number one. Then we go number two, number three, 4, 5, and 6. The sixth string is the fattest string and has the lowest sound versus the first string with the highest sound. So again, we have 6. We'll count backwards. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let's count the frets. The frets are these metal bars across the fretboard, and we can count them 1, 2, 3, 4, and a whole bunch more. We're going to stay down here for now. And finally, we're going to count our fingers. You don't count the thumbs. This is your first finger, second, third, and fourth. All right, we're ready to start playing the guitar. We're going to place our first finger on the first fret on the first string. When you do that, you want to make sure of a couple things. One is that you're using the tip of your finger, and secondly is that you place it just before the fret and not on the fret and not after the fret. So just before, and you want to press firmly enough to get a good sound. If you don't press hard enough, you get a funny sound. If your finger's in the wrong position, you get a funny sound. If your finger's on the fret, also get a funny sound. There's really only one good spot for that, and that is right there on the first string right before the fret. Now, to help you play with your fingertip, we're going to think about your thumb. Your thumb should be behind the guitar on the fretboard and not hanging over the guitar like this. So that helps you kind of form your hand correctly so that now you're playing your first finger on the fingertip. Okay, so this is the first finger on the first string on the first fret. Let's try the second finger on the second string on the second fret. Again, you want to use the fingertip and leave that finger right by the fret. Now let's try the third finger, third string, third fret. Fourth finger, fourth string, fourth fret. Let's also try the fifth string. For the fifth string, let's use our second finger. And we'll have that note. And then finally we'll have the sixth string that today we'll use our third finger on the third fret. Now you may have noticed that the first finger played the notes on the first fret, the second finger on the notes on the second fret, third on the third, fourth on the fourth. And this is a concept that's important to us right now. It's called first position. So if you're playing a song, if you're playing a melody, and you're ever wondering, what finger do I use for which note? This is your guide. You look at your hand and say, oh, it's the third fret. I should be playing my third finger. It's the second fret. I should be playing my second finger, and so forth. Okay, We are now ready to practice your first exercise that'll help develop finger dexterity so you can play your songs much better and easier. Okay, we're going to play the open string first. That means no fingers. Now, when you play an open string, let's talk about what you do with your left hand. You don't leave it hanging down. You don't do whatever with it. The only thing you should be doing with your left hand is holding it ready to play. Okay, so this would be the right position. You're not touching the strings. You're just holding it above the strings, kind of like little helicopter fingers, hovering there. Okay, so now we're going to play an open string, and now you add your first finger. Then add this, play the second finger, and the third finger, and the fourth finger. Now, what you might want to try, and I recommend it, is try to leave all your fingers down as you play. So it's open, then your first finger. Now, as I add my second finger, I'm going to leave my first finger down. Then the third. Your hand will feel like it might stretch here. That's good. And the fourth finger. Then come backwards. Now, if it turns out that's a bit too hard to stretch those fingers for now, it's actually okay to play one at a time. But the more you can stretch those fingers out, the better off you'll be in the long run. So as a daily exercise to develop your dexterity and develop your calluses, you should do that on every string. Let's try the second string. So the open string. Back down, and don't forget the open string at the end. Great, if you do that every day, you'll be ready for the next lesson in which we'll learn Ode to Joy. Let's summarize what we've done today. We have learned the counting of the strings, the fingers, and the frets, and that'll be really important for understanding how to play the guitar in the future. We understand the concept of first position, so you know where to put your fingers and which finger to use for which note. We have learned the correct placement of your fingers, so you don't have your thumb hanging over here. You have your thumb behind the fretboard, and you know that the finger should be using your fingertip and should be right by the fret. And you have to press hard enough to make sure it works. It should be before or after that. We also learned a warm-up exercise, starting with the open string, that you can play every day to develop your dexterity. Great. You have learned enough to be ready to play your very first song that we'll do in the second part of this free lesson, and you can simply click the video. Don't forget that you can pause these videos as much as you want. You can play them as much as you want. And make sure you get every lesson correct before you move on to the lesson. And I'll see you in the next lesson. Take care.